Like, they literally had people ripping the fur off of lambs while they're still alive. That's where Ugg boot fur comes from. I was wearing Ugg boots and I tore them off and threw them in the trash while I was watching the documentary. So that's why I went vegan 4 years ago. Um, so the next question I'm going to ask you is, would you consider veganism ever?
What about you? Like,
I mean,
I
I'm
would.
an athlete, so I mean, I don't know
maybe.
really. I mean, I don't know if there's any like food I can get nutrients from.
Yeah, okay.
So that's like probably like the biggest thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
I
probably.
mean, if there was like a sustainable solution, I'm all for it.
But it's just
like-
like there's nothing right now.
Nothing as of right now.
Especially like building protein and bulking up, especially
Well, I
with, like
love
aggressive
animals,
sports
so.
like football,
Okay.
rugby.
So there's many vegan bodybuilders. Actually, the strongest man in the world right now is a vegan, and he was able to like have that motivation and get up that tier to show people like that eating plant-based is actually healthier. There's a documentary called What the Health, and there's a documentary called Game Changers, and they have research on when you get plant-based proteins. They all have the same amino acids that the animals got their protein from, and it has like chickpeas have all 9 essential amino acids in them, so everything has protein in it, even like a watermelon. So like maybe not enough if you just ate watermelon, but a whole food plant-based diet is actually the healthiest diet, proven by the dietetic associations, the largest ones in the world. So that definitely wouldn't be an issue. There's tons of vegan bodybuilders on YouTube that you could learn and get recipes from, specifically for high protein meals. And you can do it whole foods, or you can get like plant-based proteins like soy products, like the Beyond Burger and stuff like that. There's one right at BurgerFi, and I get it. Like, you might be like, oh, this food is like fake, but we eat bread that didn't grow off of the wheat just like that. It's processed. You know, we do it for our convenience and because we like the way it tastes and it sits on the shelf for longer. That's really why we do it. So the only thing weird about it is our perception of it, because it's not something that we've heard of before. So, yeah. Yeah, when you learn about what it's made from and why it's made, and it's made for the taste of it because people miss the taste, but we don't miss the cruelty, like that's why we chose those products instead. It's not weird like you might think it is before trying it. So, have you guys ever tried vegan products before?
I did like a couple times and it wasn't bad trying it.
My mom was vegan for a year now. She like fed us vegan food. Like she gave us a lot of vegan products for like the whole year.
Oh,
I'm not
really?
gonna say I did enjoy it. It was all right. It was definitely not like my favorite, but it was not a bad experience.
Okay. So, like, how much variety did she feed you guys? Like, was it the same thing over and over again, or did she switch it up a lot?
She switched it up, but we were fed like a lot of like similar options of food.
Yeah, like, basically like the same thing that you had before, but like more veganized version of it.
Yeah,
Is that what
she
you
would feed us a vegan burger pie like once or twice a week maybe. Whole year though, so like I think the grocery bill was kind of expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, what?
Also, is there anything like
Like
price wise, like difference between price wise as opposed to like vegan food? Because I know there's more like that goes into making it, like as opposed to like the CO2 production of it, like
Yeah.
and making the foods as opposed to just. I mean, I don't like killing
Okay.
animals, but
Okay.
like, is there anything? Like,
So,
because I know there's probably more like it's all processed food
yes.
that goes in the vegan food, right?
Well, when we're
And-
talking about mock meats that are supposed to mimic the flavors and the textures of traditional meat products,
But then it's
then yeah, it's more processed.
Yeah.
But a whole food plant-based diet, like beans, rice, potatoes, those are the cheapest and the healthiest option. Like fresh fruits and vegetables added in as well. That's the healthiest way to eat and the least processed, and you're going straight to the source of where the food comes from. Because when like a cow, a chicken, or a sheep eats the plants, it takes 75% more land and plants to eat that. And we're clearing forests that go into indigenous people's territory, and a lot of times they get killed too in the process. And we're losing the CO2. So like the plants that would help with this, help with our CO2 absorption of what we produce, we're getting rid of that too. And the problem really from the industry is methane. So like methane gas from cow farts. Like, the reason that's an issue is because it's worse than the CO2 when it comes to, like, per metric ton. The methane is a lot more damaging over a long period of time, where CO2 is more immediately impacted on the atmosphere and, like, you know, the sun's exposure to all that stuff. It goes deep. You can watch Cowspiracy, that's a documentary about it. And people have looked at the research, and any research or like debunking of like the vegan stuff is way smaller studies done by industries that are looking for profit, while the biggest, most reputable industries are the ones that show the actual data of why people go vegan for environmental reasons or health reasons in the first place that have nothing to do with animal ethics, and then they learn that you can only go vegan for the ethics of animals. Otherwise, it's just a plant-based diet because it doesn't stop you from using fur. So
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
I goes like
welcome.
really deep into like.
it goes a lot of stuff, right? It affects a lot. The whole transportation industry combined creates less CO2 than the animal agriculture industry. And we have the power as individuals to boycott it. You guys can save 200 to 300 animals a year by going vegan. Feed 80 billion animals a year. There's only like 10 billion of us. And there's people starving. Yeah. So, like, it's a lot
But
less
hold on, you said,
bioefficient to eat the animal than the
You
plant
said
yourself.
since we're killing 80 million animals a year, and you said there's still people starving. What would your vegan food? Just wondering, what would that do for those people? Since we haven't already reached them, like what would that do to them?
I get your point, and it's funny because like my grandfather used to tell me like, don't throw your food away, eat it all, because there's people starving in Africa. Like, well, are you gonna send it to them? Like, is that what you're saying? Like, it doesn't really affect them.
No, I mean just like you mentioned that we kill so many animals for a certain amount of people, and then I was just curious why you brought that up when you were talking about the vegan food stuff, because like how would vegan foods help get that over?
I
How
get
would
that
solve
completely. Like, you're right. But what I'm saying is that, like, it is the way that we store it and the economy. It doesn't really affect it that much. But it just goes to show, like, how our system it doesn't make sense, right? So it highlights other issues outside of veganism as well. You're totally right. But the fact that we feed that many animals and we have hungry people, like, you know, we're more worried about feeding the animals than each other. So it doesn't just have to do with veganism. It does go outside of that when you're looking at that issue, for sure. Yeah. That's what I would say to that.
Thank you guys so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much. I have one of these for each of you if you would.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much. It has resources. If you guys wanted to see some footage, we do have some footage. It's really gruesome.
Okay, thank you.
I think I saw like one before and it was so sad.
It is. It's very, very sad.
Well, I'm good. Thank you, though.
Of course. Have a great one.
Thanks, you too.
You too.